Strada is a new AI-enabled cloud platform for content creators. Let's check what's new.
You're watching CineD, supported by B&H and CVP.
Hi guys, I'm Johnny from CineD and I'm here with Michael from Strada.
That's right.
Michael, how are you?
I'm so great. It's so good to see you again.
Thank you very much. We actually conducted an online interview not so long ago about your new venture, Strada, but not everybody, of course, saw this,
Yeah.
and we always want to hear more. So, what is Strada all about?
Strada is AI-powered cloud workflow. And I know that's a lot of buzzwords. I use them all. But if you think about it, AI has a lot of headlines because of its generative properties. But I actually think that's overrated. And the real key for creative people to leverage AI is going to be in the taskification of the boring stuff, of the utilities, like syncing and transcribing and translating, transcoding, tagging, searching. And if we have a finite amount of time to create, the faster we can do the boring stuff, the more time we have to create with. And so that's what we're building.
So, what are you doing personally with your new tool in order to ease the pain?
Yeah. So for me, the most important thing is being able to give an editor the most amount of time to do the creative cutting and not be syncing, transcribing, importing, transcoding, or even tagging. Tagging is really important because we generally don't tag very much because it's so laborious. And if you're tagging for someone else, you might think, I'm going to differently. And they search and they say no results, right? But AI doesn't get tired. It can tag many times over, and then it can understand the different ways we might search for, like child, kid, or teen. All of those might be true, but if you're doing it manually, you might not pick them all. And so what you're going to see is the fastest syncing, tagging, transcription, translation in the world, and it's all custom built in the cloud.
Michael, so if I need physically to tag stuff, or the machine learning will take care of this by itself and create the tags alone?
That's right. When I click on any tag, I can simply hit tag or analyze, and it will automatically analyze everything in the asset. When it does the analytics process, the column on the left is everything that it found. The timeline on the right is where it found it. And so an editor or a producer, a writer, a director, a story editor, anyone can now see what's happening and when it happens. So if I search by something like cat, it'll find me the takes not only with the cat, but it tells me where the cat appears. We can see right here, there's no cat in the shot. If I hit play, I see the cat's gonna happen right here. So I could skip to that part, and now we see the cat. So we're able to do that extremely fast. If I search by fruit, it'll take me right to, I see a refrigerator, and there's fruit in the refrigerator, and I'm able to look at the word fruit, and I can skip to right where they see it. The AI tells me fruit is right here, and look what happens. We see the fruit right there.
Can I see a combination of two words, or is that too challenging for the system?
No, we can start adding things together like woman and fruit, and we can start combining tasks together to find more and narrow things down even closer. But remember, we're also doing this with language. So we can search by the language as well, because Strada is simultaneously transcribing, and our transcription is capable of 100 languages. So in this case, I have French-speaking people.
Bonjour madame. Bonjour. Je suis là pour récupérer votre colis de Saint-Valentin.
So we can transcribe 100 languages, but if I click on translate, now the same thing is going to be shown to us in English. So we have the ability to translate and transcribe 100 languages so that no matter what language you speak, the editor might not have to know that language, and they can still speak it, and the transcriptions will be on the screen. So if you render this out, you actually see the transcription spoken. So you don't have to go to a separate party to do that. You don't have to upload more clips and get it back. You can do a batch of 1,000 and it will just render it all together.
Very nice. But a personal question.
Yeah.
AI is a buzzword.
Yeah.
Me as a user, I never know if there is really AI implemented in something, or the manufacturer is just using it because it's popular. Is there really AI thing in your Strada?
Yeah, there's absolutely real. It's honestly, the question is, it's not really AI at all. It's machine learning. And that's actually the more appropriate. AI is a buzzword, and we understand what I think we mean when we say it, but it's really machines that are learning. And that machine learning is why you give it inputs and then it can learn and provide an output. And that is absolutely inside Strada. And it's important that people understand we don't let people train on your data. Your data is your data, and it will learn what you shoot and what your style is and what language you speak. And then you can apply the appropriate machine learning models to expedite your workflow based on the type of productions you make.
Now it's much clearer. Last time that we talked, you actually had a beta version, and you asked people to join the beta group to test it and give you feedback. How successful was it? I mean, people really registered, or they were like, AI, I'm not so sure. I mean, people are really used to work with tools they know. Was it a successful approach to ask people to join and test the beta?
So in terms of the beta, we don't have any problem with people wanting to try it. That's easy. There's a wait list that's 1,500 people long that want to try it.
1,500 people?
Yeah. The problem is me feeling comfortable with making sure it can serve every single person's needs. And I don't know all these people personally. So we find, now, if you know me and you watch my stuff, I think you probably are not afraid of AI. You see it as an opportunity. Not everybody feels that way, but I think the people that follow Strada do feel that way. And they understand they're comfortable with their job, but they want to speed things up, and Strada might be a solution. So the users are all different types. And what's cool is about 40% of our beta sign-up people are overseas. They're not in the US. And I think that's a really strong indicator that language translation and transcription is missing in the work in progress phase. There are a lot of tools and a lot of ways to use transcriptions for finishing and the outputs and the finals. But what about the dailies at the very beginning? That's where it's hard. When I have 500 clips that I want transcribed in a batch, and I want to maintain time code and clip name, and I want to maintain the polyphonic wave files, most AI transcription companies will say, well, I don't even know what you just said, right? Like, what's a polyphonic wave file, right? That's the type of stuff that editors and post-producers, post-supervisors, they understand that, and we have to make it work for them. So the machine learning for us involves beta users that are into language usage, and I think it shows that there's a big gap in non-English speaking communities for tools that help them use, edit in different languages.
Here is a question about transcription and translating.
Yeah.
We do a lot of stuff, which is, even factory tools. There's a certain language in our profession.
Yeah.
Do you think that the tool that you are using can identify those words, translate them, or even transcribe in a correct way, or it will be a bit confused?
Well, today, I would say it's the feedback we get from users is it's very impressive. I had a gentleman here yesterday who speaks fluent French, and he was watching French translations, and his words standing right there were, I can't believe how accurate this is. It seems perfect. And it was two actors performing. So they're not even talking normally, they're performing. And so it's very realistic situation. So I think, though, what will happen is different ways to analyze picture and sound and language will only get better, but it might get better in different categories. Let's say a language like Armenian. It doesn't use the Latin characters. It's a very different language in script. Or Japanese, which uses sentence structure very different from other languages. Those models are all going to get better. When we integrate them together, it means we can take one model to do the transcription of a native language and a different model to translate it to the language you want. That translation pattern shouldn't just be one model fits all. So we can become accurate by dialing in, I want Japanese to Spanish. That's very specific, and we can find multiple models to actually do them together.
How close or far are we from the actual release date of Strada?
Oh boy. So our goal is to spend the summer hardening this with all those beta testers. and get a version 1 out by the end of the year. That's our goal. We are on track. Our beta today at NAB, so it's April, is where I'm very, very happy. It's better than I thought. It does way more than I thought, and the results are very, very significant, very special. But can we get it into a full-on product by the end of the year? That's our objective, and we'll keep you updated throughout. That's what I want.
That's really good because I've been, I think it's already 2 or 3 times that I really wished that I could use Strada for my own our CineD projects because of different languages, because of the tagging. It's fascinating. Of course, this type of tool is kind of it's a futuristic present tool.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm looking forward to try this. One more thing is pricing, and maybe it's a question you wouldn't like to talk about because last we discussed it was like, I don't know, because everybody has a bit of a different needs. Is that still the case, or you're more defined about the pricing?
We don't have exact pricing yet, but I don't want to dodge the question. The answer for pricing that I can say today is we will never charge for users. We are unlimited users. We really believe that you should bring as many collaborators as you want. And I don't like tools that as your team expands, you can't afford to invite more of your collaborators in, or you have to kick one person out to bring in another. I don't think that's good. Plus, in the creative community, we work on these rhythms and we have a lot of production and then not very much, or we're shooting and then we're editing. And the scale of our team changes. And I don't like the idea of software being one level of users when I might only have 3 people on payroll for a month and then I have 30. That's really hard to float the entire year. So I know how production schedules and budgets work. And so I'm building the software to accept that and understand that. We are going to charge you for usage-based pricing. So you would never pay for a taxi cab that you're not in. And Strada will be very similar, where you only are paying for the processing when you process. And if you don't process, I'm not going to charge you to render things, right? Just because it's there. We all have subscription fatigue. And if you go home and you realize, I didn't watch much Netflix this month, that feels bad because you had to pay $60 for it, right? I don't want people to have that feeling with Strada. If I did a big production and I get a bill for that, and the next month I have no production, I'm waiting for the next job, I don't want to charge you the same money as when you had a lot of work going on. So I want to be more respectful of that. That's how I work. And so pricing is not officially announced yet, but it's usage-based pricing. You do a lot, you pay more. You want to render faster, you're going to pay more. You want to render slower, you pay less. And you can change that on your own.
A different question. Yeah. You started a very nice, really very nice YouTube channel. We are happy to support and say, just look for Strada's YouTube channel. And your passion, and that's what I like over there, comes out with the videos you do. And a lot of this is how to achieve a film look with iPhone 15 Pro and so on. What is the motivation behind trying things? You know what I mean? I'm looking for a very specific answer in my mind. Why do you do this? I mean, you could actually now be in Hawaii. Or, okay, yeah.
The answer is curiosity. I'm just curious, and being curious allows us to discover new things. I'm often like, I'm not offended, but when people see me shooting an iPhone, making really good looking iPhone footage, they say, why would anyone ever do that? And my answer is, it is our business. If there's no room in our industry for people that want to dictate that a product or a tool or a person can only be using it the way it was designed for somebody else. It makes no sense. We often we make the joke in America all the time, MacGyver, right? And we're just using things in ways they were not meant to be used.
That's the fun.
But when we do that, we discover something about ourselves, about our team. We discover something about a technology or a tool or a technique. And when people say, some people say, just because you can do something doesn't mean you should. No one who's ever invented anything ever thought like that, or else nothing would be invented. Everything you look around is invented by somebody who was curious and tried it. If Canon didn't push the 5D 15 years ago, the HX2 wouldn't do what it's doing right now. But they tried something really out of the box, and it became remarkable. And it's this image looks great, it sounds great, it does all these things, but that's because they were experimenting. And you could say in 2006, well, that's dumb. Why don't you just shoot on a Panaflex Gold on 35 millimeter? That'll look better. Well, who cares if it looks better? That's not necessarily achievable for everybody. So I like the idea of democratization. One of the companies I founded with my brother Peter was called Light Iron. And Light Iron, we started it in Hollywood. We did major motion pictures, over 150 movies we were doing a year. And we called it Light Iron because when we started post-production in 2009, people said you can only do post in Hollywood with heavy iron tools, Christie projectors and, giant computer servers. And I was like, I know where there's a place for heavy iron, but I also think there's a place for light iron. And the name itself is our way of saying democratized available tools paired with really powerful heavy iron tools is the best meeting ground for the most amount of people. And that's been my passion forever.
Michael, thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Johnny.
Always nice
CineD,
talking to you.
amazing resources. You should say your channels and your resources are so good. And that's the community can learn so much from what you put out. It's super high quality and it's very, very authentic and sincere. So I appreciate you too.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Guys, thank you very much for watching. And please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.